Okay, welcome back. So today I'm just going to do the first recording for a new unit, which is unit 25. So this unit, let me just get the right title. This unit is Achieving Success at Interview, so it's unit 25. And a lot of the focus of this is, so basically the end goal of this unit is to have you take part in an interview. So it's going to be an interview for your traineeship, the gym instructor role, and a lot of what we're doing is kind of asking you to prepare for that. So success in an interview is really largely down to your level of preparation. So if you're sat in front of an interviewer, they obviously have seen something in you that they like. They're keen to have you on board, but it's their opportunity to assess your, well, number one, how you present yourself, but also to assess how much you know about the role, how much you know about the company, and really to clarify things that you've maybe stated in your CV. So the tasks are there to kind of build you up to that point. So before we go any further, it's useful to just make sure you've found that assignment brief. So just go and find your brief for unit 25, make sure you've located that, and just pause the presentation whilst you do that. So this is a quick kind of overview of the parts of this presentation, or this unit, sorry, unit 25, achieving success at interview. And it's made up of 4 learning outcomes, so you can see those on the left hand side of that table. There's a number of worksheets, so we've got 7 worksheets in total, and an interview. So part 1 is really about preparing effectively for an interview. So if you look at part 1, learning outcome 1, it asks you to, on 1.1, assess how your own skills match those of the job role. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Tomorrow you'll get another task where you're really looking into the company. So you're sort of so if the interviewer asks you, what you know about the job, what you know about the company, you can kind of give them some facts. So the first bit is really sort of assessing how your skills match the person's specification of the job role, and also researching the company. The next learning outcome asks you to plan. A lot of it's about planning for questions that are going to be posed to you, questions that you have the opportunity to ask. Part 3 is we record a Zoom interview, so we formalise it, so you have to dress as if you're being interviewed. It's a formal process that will be recorded. And then lastly, the final part is just another worksheet where you create a quick summary of what you think went well, what went well, what you might do differently following that interview. So a nice quick unit, but some really important stuff to get through. So today all we're going to do, just sort of kick you off, it's cover that learning outcome number 1, which is prepare effectively for interview, and you're going to assess how your own skills match to those of the job role. Okay, so what we're going to work through, you've got your assignment brief. On page 5, you'll see this worksheet. Now, what you're going to do in a minute, you're going to review the person specification. Now, the person specification is a document that a company will have when they're recruiting. So they may give you that person specification before the interview to show kind of what they're looking for, what they want in a person to fill that role. I've sent you a person specification for a team member / fitness instructor job for the gym group, which is what you're going to be interviewing for. So I need you to find that now. So before we go any further, just pause the presentation and find the person specification that I'll have sent. It's for the gym group, and it's for a team member gym instructor role. So just pause the presentation now and find that. So hopefully you found it. So you've got two documents, the person specification, and you've got the worksheet number 1. So worksheet number 1 is on page 5 of your assignment brief. So what you're presented with is you've got this worksheet and you've got 3 columns. So the first column asks you to find items from the job description or person specification. So if you look at your person specification now, you'll see that there's sections which relate to different things that the company is looking for. So there'll be a section on qualifications. So just have a look in that section and see what are essential qualifications and also what are desirable qualifications that they look for. So if you just have a look over that person specification, just pause the presentation, just have a look at each of the different sections and try and have a look at what are essential characteristics and see if you have them, and what are desirable characteristics and see if you have them. So just pause the presentation, have a good look over that person's specification and just see how your skills match what they're looking for. So hopefully, having paused and had a good look at that person's specification, you've kind of identified some things that you have. You can hopefully see that you're sort of well prepped for this job. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just talk you through what you need to do to complete this worksheet. So what we've got on the right hand side, we've got your worksheet. So the only difference is the one on my screen has got 3 rows and yours has got 4. So both have got 3 columns. You're going to have to fill out your complete sheet with nice full answers in each of the boxes. So what we see, what you're going to ask for is you're first going to read the person specification for the job you've applied for. So the person specification is for the team member gym instructor role. So you've had a good look over it and really try and focus in on those first 2 parts. So really looking for the sort of skills that they're the skills and the qualifications that they're after. Those are the biggies. So you've hopefully identified some things that you have that they want. So you're then going to find items from the person specification that match your skills and qualifications. So I'm going to show you an example on the next page, and then I'm just going to give you time to complete that work. So let's have a look at what it looks like. So what we've got here, so on the right hand side I've got that same worksheet page. So you can see I've got the column headers, so item from the job description or person specification, and I've also cut out the first 2 sections from that person specification. So remember, the person specification is something that an employer will have when they're kind of deciding to recruit someone. So they're sort of saying, well, what do we absolutely want from this person? What are our absolutes that they must have in order to have the vaguest chance of getting a job? So they'll have these essential skills, essential qualifications, and people must demonstrate that they have them. So if you look at the picture on the right hand side, that table, the item from the job description or person specification, I've outlined that they must hold a current recognised industry qualification in fitness instruction. So on the left hand side you can see there, one of the things that you have to have is that they hold a current recognised industry qualification in fitness instruction at level 2 or above. Okay, now in the skills that match, I have a level 2 gym instructor, and you should have one soon. So I've just put, as a level 2 gym instructor, I'm eligible for membership of REPS, which is the Register of Exercise Professionals. So you could have just said, I'm a level 2 qualified gym instructor. And then your evidence is going to come from really the fact that you've got a certificate. So it says, I will be a qualified level 2 gym instructor following this current course. I think I'd add to that you have a certificate, or you will have a certificate to demonstrate that. So really all you're doing, if you're just taking items from that left hand table that you can demonstrate you have evidence of. So for example, if I looked down that list and said, okay, well what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look into that desirable column under education and qualifications. So if I look in there, desirable, number one they're looking for is there's a demonstrate past continuous professional development. Well, maybe I'm quite new to the industry and I don't really have that. But the next one down, a first aid at work, maybe I do have that. So I can say, put now in my box, so the item from the job description or person specification, I could say I have a first aid at work qualification. The skills that match are my first aid skills. The evidence or examples, or the evidence is that I've got a certificate in it. So really the item from the job description or person specification really is that it is desirable that I have a first aid at work qualification. The skills that match is I have a first aid at work qualification, and the evidence is that I've got a certificate for it. If I look even further down, I'm now looking at the skills part of that person specification. So now I could say, actually, I've probably got quite a few of those. So I could probably say, actually, the item from the job description or person specification that you should find really easy is I'm physically able to set up and clear equipment. Okay, so the item from the job description or person specification I'm going to put in on my box on the left hand side is that the person should have the skill to be able to physically be able to set up and clear away equipment. So the skills that match is that I'm healthy, I'm able, and I'm able to clear up or set up and clear away equipment. Do I have evidence or examples? Well, I don't know if I do, but I could say actually I've always helped clear up equipment at the end of the training sessions I take part in as part of my tennis lessons. I am physically active and a regular gym goer. I take part in circuit training, so I'm always helping put equipment out, helping clear it up at the end, and I remain committed to my own healthy living. So I want you to really just sort of work your way through. Preferably you should have mostly the essential characteristics, but you can find a couple of desirable ones. So you're really just explaining on the left hand side, what does the person specification ask for? What skills have you got that match that person's specification? And then give me examples and evidence of that. So I would pause the presentation, complete that table. It should only take about 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so. And when you're done, scan it and email it to me. Okay? Good luck. So hopefully you've had a good go at that. You're now going to scan the work just for my copy and send it, but also make sure you file that work, and then when it comes to the end of the unit you need to post it all to me in the envelope that we've given. So that's your job. I hope it's gone well, and I hope to receive your completed worksheets very soon. Okay, thanks very much.